on, we're getting silly up there with Beavis and Butthead.
Maybe it's not a bad thing then. So if you're watching this live, they are watching a video, Honey Boo Boo style over there. That is what they're into today. We are broadcasting live right now to our Ustream channel.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, works pretty well.
Cool. Okay, so what's the schedule? What is the schedule? 11?
This is the one I have. And what's cool is you can hook it into a regular tripod for that. And plus I have that short one, so you put it on tables. And the cutouts are really nice in this one. I mean, where the cutouts are, where the power is. I can't say that I ever... live. Hi. We're live. Thanks a lot. Yeah, exactly. It's good to know.
You can say hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. Yeah. No, really, I'm at home, sweetie. I'm not in Mystic Lake. I forgot. I do need it. But this one's nice. And and I think I paid around $35. Where'd you get it from? Either B&H or IDJ Now. One of those two. What's up, man?
Juicy Lucy. Chicken wings. Take a couple hours.
Yeah, we started with
Hi, how are we doing? We're regrouping here. Concord 310 left.
No, space, that's what sucks.
I think we're about ready. We're about ready to bring things back one more time here. We're going to be talking about sound and lighting. This will be one. There we go. Great one. Well, we're about ready to get things kicked off for our second session. This will be kind of a quick look at some difficult rooms, some difficult things, some lighting, some things we can do with video, a few examples we're going to be sharing. We're not experts by any means. We're just DJs who have found some solutions, have had some ideas, who failed miserably at doing some of these things, and now we want to share our failures and successes, a couple of them with you. There's obviously many examples we could use, but we're just going to look at a couple of things that we've done with some events. So we're going to kick off Brian Kelm. He'll be starting us off. He's going to be talking. Well, he probably got a slide for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, Brian Kelm.
After all this prep work here this morning, the first thing that I want to start off with is, before we begin, is everybody visualize a venue that you hate to perform at because of difficult conditions, difficult layout, that you would probably put like $1,000 additional fee on never performing there again, okay? And just think about that throughout this presentation, because hopefully by these slides you have a new understanding of sound in difficult rooms, okay? As opposed to looking at it as being something that is tough or that's impossible or whatever challenges you may face, hopefully you get to look at it in a different way, okay? The word tough right there, it has a negative connotation. Usually it's something that you're going to fight, something that's going to be hard to pull off, and you might just not want to do it, versus find a professional solution to pull off the solution for the client, depending on the layout. The first piece that I want you guys to consider is, throughout this presentation, is instead of looking at a tough room as difficult or challenging, look at it as an opportunity. Because when you put a positive spin on it, then you're going to allow your creativity to run wild. And then when you go throughout your site visits with your client, you're going to have these tools to look at, okay? A new way of looking at it versus like, okay, I do the same thing, I look at the venue, I find out what solution might work. But another thing to look at is the actual, right here, multiple rooms. We all know how to set up a room, what it looks like, but automatically when you do a site visit or when you meet with clients, the key words are multiple rooms. We're looking past just one room, setting up in one room. We're looking at multiple rooms, okay? So you have a lot going on at the same time, okay? And all of it needs to be consistent, there has to be proper flow, it all has to work together. So in essence, and you can't see the right there, is a new approach, a new thought process. So really in essence, if you're working with one room, kind of put that aside when you're working with two rooms or multiple rooms, because there's a lot more at stake. Just a little simple request is that you turn off your Bluetooth, because I'm using a remote and I don't want to start your gadgetry up and start playing iTunes on your machines. A quick question for everybody, and it's an answer that we already know, is what do all these things have in common? I don't know why they're not on the screen. Talent, focal point, disc jockey, focus, and all the other words that kind of signify our business. The one I'm not, even though that this presentation is for is sound, it really in essence has nothing to do with sound. It has everything to do with timing, ideas, transitions, planning, mood, staging, floor plan, flow, timeline, venue and site visit, and brainstorming, okay? Now, yes, we have to produce the sound, right? But with all the other elements to consider, it really doesn't matter, okay? For instance, just look at a normal body pack, okay? We might use it to wire up an officiant or some other type of person. But to take that one single body pack and reacclimate it towards transmitting sound somewhere else, that's a new way of looking at it, okay? A great production is a collaboration of all these elements and more, okay? It's not just about using the proper tools to get the job done, it's about thinking about elements that we already have, but just in a new way. Out of this presentation, objective and reward number one is that you have an understanding that there are no quick fixes. When I put this presentation together and from trial and error and whatnot, I didn't find something just to wing or to get by and get that event done with. A professional solution that works every time, okay? Objective number two is treat this presentation or preparation as a valid part of your productions. We're spending all this time and all this effort meeting with our clients, prepping them, doing all of our layouts, maybe even to some degree if we're doing staging and pipe and drape, even measuring out the space that we're in. This is one more thing to add to your tools and all your prep work. Multiple rooms. It should automatically, from the muscles in our brain, it should automatically connect. Multiple rooms, now I'm thinking of these things. Reward and objective number three, go back, is that these are additional tools and thoughts that you can lock in your brain. These types of things are never going to go away in terms of what our clients are going to ask for us to do, but now we have a new understanding of what we can apply to their events. Objective and reward number four is that our gear should be fun to use. And I don't know about you, but spending thousands of dollars on gear and using it a different way or realizing that it can be used in a different way is really enticing. It's really fun to play around with, as opposed to our normal common use of our gear. We have a wireless microphone, we talk into it versus using that same system for something else. And then the most priceless objective is for all of our gear that we spend thousands of dollars on, is that we can use the gear that we already own in a new way. It's a new thought process. A body pack is just a body pack, but when you can combine it with a couple simple cables and a new thought, you can put it to creative use. It's a different thought process. I just chose a couple different mixers, like small format analog mixers. Everybody uses various different things. The Mackie Onyx 820i and then an Allen D 10 channel. Okay, and by the highlighted regions, you can actually see what auxiliary sends and then the individual banks of where you're asking for a signal to go from. And then a new digital mixer that is very cool in its interface with an iPad is the Mackie DL1606, where you create a wireless network and you can connect all these other iPads to it and they each get the direct feed. Now for a DJ style board, you can even do this as well, these connections. And I've highlighted like monitor, and then this is the Denon MC6000, is you can use your mics, you can use your monitor inputs, and then also booth and send for these particular things. Wireless systems, everybody has their chosen brand. These are all rack-mounted versions. The one I want to really focus on in terms of aesthetics and in their size are the non-rack mounted versions. This particular version is Sennheiser. There's other ones that exist, but the beautiful part is the receiver and the transmitter are all packs. There's no rack mounting anything. You can take it wherever you go. And then the cabling, 1/8-inch pin to 1/4-inch jack, or XLR, excuse me, depending on what you're connecting it to. The 4 different scenarios, I'm going to cruise by these beginning slides very quickly, is Sean and Madeline's wedding, 2 spaces total reception only, and then it was 1 long room that wraps around with guest seating. Scenario number 2 is Sean and Casey's wedding. There was 3 total spaces, 1 outside for the ceremony. We'll go back. 3 total spaces, 1 for the ceremony, 2 inside. 1 for the cocktail hour and dinner, and then 1 for the dancing. A couple non-traditional examples are tapping into a venue's house system. And the final one is multimedia presentation. This ties into what Mitch will be talking about in his section of video, is to get that signal of multimedia from that source to your board from your sound system. Scenario number 1, let's dig a little deeper. The thought process behind Sean and Madeline's wedding is I chose not to tap into the house sound system. The sound quality I didn't trust. And over on the slide to the right-hand side, right over here, left-hand side, over in the corner, right where my power supply was, is that I could tap right into my RCA into the house. I chose not to do that because I was going to be in a far corner and I needed to be centered in the room. Okay? I needed to have coverage throughout the entire room in terms of multiple mics, music for cocktail and dinner in both spaces at the same time. I needed to have a quick transition from the end of dinner to the beginning of open dancing. So we would move from dinner over to open dancing where Madeline, Sean, and their wedding party are doing their rehearsed dance, their choreographed dance. The timeline, 4:30 to 5:30 is cocktail hour, 5:40 is the grand march. 6 to 7:15 is a 3-course style sit-down dinner, and then 7:15 to 7:30 is when we move over for open dancing. So it's very timely. It's not like we could put in the solution or move gear around or any of that business when it's going on. Okay? The floor plan. Okay, the highlighted regions. Here's the main setup over in the bar area with the dance floor. There's a little mini system that I set up in the middle of the ballroom with 1 speaker for the fill there. But then over in this little cove is where I set up a wireless speaker over in the corner. Makes no difference to the wireless speaker or the brand or anything like that. It's what you're doing to it. Now my mindset was, okay, during cocktail hour, okay, how am I going to get sound throughout here that I would trust and a solution I can rely on? So what I chose to do is that the majority of the area during cocktail hour is going to be throughout the building, so I need a universal solution. So what I chose to do is make this the primary system right here with 2 auxiliary sends. I send 1 here and I send 1 back, and then there's a return. The inventory I used of gear. I'm not going to spend time on actually what I use in terms of like mixer and all that, but with your mixing board is at least one wireless microphone system is available with a body pack, okay? I synced up the rack mount in my main system to the body pack, and I sent that signal back to the main system, okay? The satellite system, I use a 12-channel board on a table in a rack with one Mackie 450 on a stand in the ballroom, and then 2 wireless handhelds for toast and a backup, okay? And then the 2 auxiliary sends that I used, one was for back in the main ballroom for the main system, but then the other one was right around the corner. If I was to do this again, I would simplify. That one word just kind of encapsulates the whole process, is I would simplify, and here's how I would do that. The main system would stay the same. The dining area, I would opt for any speaker with mixer functionality. In this particular model is the QSC K8. You don't need much. It's for cocktail and dinner, maybe a few introductions, okay? But the beautiful part about it is it has mixer functionality built in. So you don't need to have a rack occupying space. So by simplifying, I reduced the table, and I didn't have, I removed the table, and everything was wireless, okay? So I had 2 music stands, I used 3 wireless systems, and we were good to go. A very small footprint. I don't want to take up a lot of space. I want it to be very aesthetically pleasing, but if I was going to use some space, it really didn't look like I was there, okay? Scenario number 2. There's a lot going on in this one with a ceremony, cocktail, dinner, and dance. Okay, I had to think of 3 different spaces at once. Ceremony, cocktail, dinner, and dance, all at the same time, okay? It needed to be quick, timely, and efficient. I didn't have a lot of time in between. Less is more. Use technology. I don't want to be moving around any gear around. I wanted to set up once and be good to go. No shortcuts and nothing sacrificed. The timeline, very specific. 3 to 3:30, 3:30 to 5:30, 5:35, 6 to 7:15, and then 7:15 to 7:30 is dancing. Maybe we'll go over for dancing. The floor plan. Okay, in the top right-hand corner is the ceremony space that's outside. Ceremony got done. All guests are migrating in. Over in the far left-hand corner where the dance floor is, that's where the main system was. Grand March and everything was covered through the front entrance right by the bar. Everybody was interacting for the most part in that area for a good portion of the evening, and then we moved on over. And then right near the head table, I just had a powered speaker on a stand with a little rack. The inventory that I used in the main system or the main setup for cocktail hour introductions and open dancing, same thing applies to the previous scenario. At least one wireless body pack so that I could take that signal from the other room and bring it back. So there's returns both ways. The dining room, I used the same speaker, the K8 on a stand, with a small rack of mixer, and then 2 wireless systems and a laptop for music playback. If I was to do this again, here's what I would do. Main system, just like in the previous scenario, would stay the same. What would change is I'd simplify things. In the dining room, I'd remove the mixer, I'd remove the mics that are wired into that, and I would just use those packs for 2 wireless mics, but then I would send a signal. Let me show you guys. There's a line out right here in the speaker. I would take another transmitter and send it right back to the main unit in the bar area, so that there's a continued mix for the overflow of guests that are in the diner or in the bar area. Scenario number 3, tapping into a house sound system. Thought process behind this is coverage is key. Do not need to get into delays, wireless packs, or any extra gear. Limited to introductions, announcements, and toasts. Music playback is through my own sound system. The inventory I use, mixer, booth out, monitor, auxiliary send. All of this is already on our boards, maybe with a simple direct box right there, a radial JUI or a whirlwind. You can do this kind of stuff. And then the final one, and Mitch is actually using this connection right now for when he presents, is a multimedia presentation on the other side of the room. Okay? There's no long cable run. It's very simple. It's convenient, simple equipment connections, okay? The two examples that I put together for you guys, let's see if I can, screen's coming.
Resolution. Is it?
Yeah, experience.
Okay, well, that's okay. Okay, so right here, I mean, it's a simple laptop. I got an 1/8" connection, okay, going into this direct box. Out of the direct box, I got an XLR connection going into the body pack, and then it's synced with the other one. The difference here is that what we're using right now is exactly the same scenario, just a different pack. Laptop to an 1/8" female into an 1/8" male right into the body pack. So you remove the direct box. And those cables I just got in from Europe. And I know Johnny has some as well. Inventory used. Main sound system with at least one wireless system, body pack, available cables, your laptop, and media player.
See, Brian?
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by multimedia? You just meaning just the sound for the multimedia presentation?
Well, your actual source. Whether it's a DVD player, whether it's a laptop, where it starts, your source of what you have to transmit.
So you're transmitting video,
Audio.
just audio.
Audio. Just audio.
The laptop setup on the far side of the room to do multimedia presentation, but it has
I got
audio.
it. I see what you're saying. I was just making sure.
No, that's fine. I thank you guys for your time. What questions do we have? I know that Mitch is going to give the video portion. Go ahead, Ron.
I'm trying to figure out the signal going and the signal coming back. You lost me there.
Okay.
Auxiliary.
Okay, on one particular scenario, anyone stand out or just all of them?
All of them, because I don't understand the need to do both directions.
Okay. Okay, let me answer that and I'll also give you a visual. Okay. All right, let's just pick out bigger screen here. Actually, I'll just explain it to you guys. Okay, here we are, floor plan. Okay. Okay, to answer your question, all right. Okay, so to actually, okay, so no, I'm going to give you a different scenario.
Thank you for not confusing it anymore.
See, okay, let me tell you why, without making you confused, okay? With the scenarios. Because one, I'm doing both, the other one I'm just sending, okay?
Okay.
I tried not to make this too technical, but it's very difficult without at least experimenting. Okay, so knowing that everybody's going to be in through the entire room throughout the entire event, okay? I made this my focus. This is like my center. This is my starting point for the entire evening, okay? Now, in order for there to be coverage in the bar, I use an auxiliary sent out of my board with a body pack to a wireless rack-mounted receiver in my main rig.
Okay.
And I had, the fader up and whatnot, and I gave it a signal. So whatever mix I was sending here was going here. Whether it be my mic, whether it be my laptop, or whatever your music source is, okay? I was doing the same for this speaker over here. I was giving it its own mix. Mics, line level signal, okay? Now I'm just sending, okay? With the other scenario, it goes both ways. Let me get to that. Okay, here we go. Here's both ways. Okay, I'm over in the bar area to begin the festivities of Grand March and introductions and whatnot, okay? Move over here. What I'm doing is I'm starting over here, but for any guest that is seated prior to introduction starting and all of that, I needed to send a signal over to the powered speaker over on the other side, okay? So that'd be an auxiliary send, right? That body pack is connected to one of the channels to accept the signal of whatever I send over to it, okay? Now, the line out of that particular speaker, I was sending a signal back to my board. Because right here, there's 4 tables of overflow in terms of dinner, okay? So whatever was happening over on this side for toast and all of that, I wanted to make sure that, and I asked guests to come on over if they wanted to witness it and all that. But I wanted to make sure that there was a constant flow of sound throughout entire rooms, no matter where I was. Does that make sense?
So you had a mic, a wireless mic on the kitchen side or the head table side, plugged into that speaker that was sending a signal back to your main rig.
Correct.
Okay.
They were both ways. So no matter what room I was in, I was sending over to another room, but then when everybody moved over for dinner, I was sending it back.
What's the advantage of, I'm just going to be honest, I'm technically challenged.
That's fine. That's fine.
So what's the difference between doing an auxiliary send and just sending that, hooking your mic up as a regular, how am I trying to word it?
You mean just on that one side?
Yeah. What's the difference?
Because you're not, how is it going to go back? And then if you have audio attached to it, right? So there's one continuous mix. How is that audio going back?
Oh, okay.
I think what he's asking is, if
Oh.
your space is over here on the dance floor,
Right.
why don't you just headquarter everything from there and send one signal to the satellite by the head table?
Control.
But I'm sending it, that doesn't mean I'm returning it.
And the reasoning is he's moving people over to where the head table is, performing from there, and still wants them to hear back on his main system side. So he needs to send the signal from where everybody has moved to expand back. So it's got a loop between. So on the dance floor side, he's going to have that return to that port on a separate channel. So
I understand the send and the return. I think what Ron's question is, and I'm kind of questioning it also, is that if you're headquartered here, you've got a satellite here, you're running a microphone there, you're sending a wireless signal to that speaker, you're sending a wireless signal from that speaker back. Wouldn't it be easier to just send one wireless signal from the head table back to your main rig?
But for guests that were in this area prior to that starting just for cocktail hours, how are they going to hear anything?
Because you're already sending the line out, is what I'm saying.
You've
got, sorry, if I understand correctly, what you're saying is you've got a microphone on this system right here, right?
Correct.
That they're using?
Correct.
And you're sending that signal through the speaker and back here so it fills this part of the room.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Couldn't you send, if you're sending a signal from here to there, couldn't this microphone be hardwired into your main box, and then when it comes to here,
You could do
then
that.
it would just go all the way up, you would have to have a return? I think that's what Ron's
could do
question.
that.
Well, no, I wasn't even talking about being hardwired. Did you just not trust the distance between your receiver on your wireless microphone?
Well, no, he's already sending 2 wireless signals. I'm not talking about hardware. I'm saying if your receiver is built into your box, and say it's rack mounted for your handheld mic, and the mic's over there, and the signal comes back, you know what I mean? It sounds like you're sending 3 signals, and you only need to send 2.
Sure. No, the thing about it is that that's intending that there's a wireless mic in there, but if you're using packs, you can reacclimate them anywhere you choose. You know what I mean? So,
Is that maybe just an example of what you said earlier, that there's opening your mind to different possibilities?
absolutely. And for instance, I'm a geek, okay? I created the smallest sound system I could possible, and it's not using any rack mount mics. It's using these packs. So you can add additional lines if you need to your heart's content. Yes, Steve?
Do you need to turn down one side or the other so that your loop that's going through doesn't do some giant feedback type of thing? You understand what I'm saying?
I'm glad that. Oh, go ahead.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad
when you're on one side or the other.
I'm glad you brought that up, but that's also a thing about your particular mixer. Okay, you might run into an impedance issue if you're running through your headphone jack, your booth, or whatever. On each pack, and I know that's very simplistic on the short pack, right? You've got a minus 20 dB buffer, you got a 0, that kind of thing.
That's not exactly what I'm saying. See, you're on your main side over on the left side, okay?
Okay.
And you're sending the signal over to the head table side.
Okay.
And then you have the loop coming back, already back to yours. Doesn't that add more stuff back to your, if it's constantly running in a big giant circle, the signal flow doesn't.
There's no latency. Not that I've witnessed.
No, what he's asking is if you're on the main system and you're sending it to the other one,
Right.
and you have the other one that's also sitting back to your main board,
Sure.
there's potential for feedback.
There
Because
is.
you end up with this big loop, where you transmit to one, and then it transmits back, and then it comes back on the board.
Sure.
That's what he's asking about, was that potential.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you turn down the feedback on the one when you're in one room versus the other, that's all. The loops.
It's two things. Number one, it's the volume control in the individual speaker. Okay? Number two, it's actual sensitivity of the pack. It's something you have to play with. I know in those Sennheiser packs, it's like, I think you got it at like a minus 18 dB.
It's, I think you have a microphone plugged into the main system,
Right.
and you're transmitting it to the room by the head table.
Right.
Well, the head table is also set up to transmit back to your main system.
Right.
Back onto that same exact board that you have a microphone plugged into.
Sure.
So if you transmit to that remote speaker, and then it transmits back, and it comes back in on the same board, and those signals are summed, and then fed out again, they're going to feedback. So that's what he was asking about was I don't know the exact question, but he was asking specifically about the potential for feedback in the situation where you're feeding out from the board and it coming back onto the same board with the same signal on another channel.
Okay. I've never had any issues. But there again, I mean, if we were running the same packs all the time, maybe a potential, right?
But
Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, that's all right.
No, go ahead.
No, it's getting into the weeds, and we didn't do it.
We need to keep going and get to the next, because Mitch has got about 20 minutes, and then we've got a break for lunch, and then so we have to test a couple of things for the afternoon. So we'll talk about the video stuff that I was going to just show a couple of things with sending video with the iPad and things. We'll do that this afternoon. So it's good we have good questions and such, but we'll jump along here so we can keep going.
Thank you guys for your time.
Hello? How's everybody doing? Good. I'm going to switch up my source here. I should be able to rock and roll. Make sure mine's going to be okay. Yeah, I'm good. Okay. Checking a resolution, make sure I'm good. Mitch Taylor, if those of you who have not met me before, I'm a wedding entertainment director from Escanaba, Michigan. Very small town, about 6 hours east of here. 12,000 people in my town, and I'm going to give you really quick, some of you may be already doing these things. Maybe you are, maybe you're not, but I want to share with you some things that I've utilized from a production solution standpoint. First up, instant slideshow. Who is doing instant slideshows at their events right now? Raise hands. 1, 2, wow. 4. Okay. After lunch, Triceratops going to be here, well, virtually, right? Yeah. So he's going to talk about his system and things like that. I personally use Virtual DJ, so I'm going to kind of talk about Virtual DJ and how you can use that application with an instant slideshow for your shows. Who here uses Virtual DJ? A lot of people. Wow. Okay. You have a lot of potential in this room for some money making. Instant slideshow is something you very easily add to your repertoire if you want. I want to stress, this is entertainment, not photography. When I talk to my couples and we're talking about their wedding day, we personally, for tailored weddings, send out 2-person teams. Master of ceremonies and assistant. The assistant's job is not only to make sure the timeline is flowing smoothly and all the right players are in the room at specific times, but also to snap some photos of things happening throughout the night. I tell our couples, yes, you're going to get copies of all these photos, but we are not professional photographers. This is not meant to take the place of your photographer. From this standpoint, those photos go on the screens instantly, okay? So that this way people can relive the moment over again of what just happened. So guests get to see the first dance, they get to see the introductions, the toast, the cake cutting. And relive that moment over again for people. Gear you need. First thing in regards to gear is, as Pat so eloquently put earlier, is, what are you using? What do you need? We at Taylor Weddings use 2 42-inch LCD TVs for pretty much every event. The majority of my venues are on the smaller side, We can raise the TVs up. You saw the TVs in the opening slide here. You can see them along the back wall there. We raise them up over the head so people can have a good sight line to it as well. Now, if you're doing 300, 400, 500 larger venues, you want to get a totem like that over there. Strong base plate, make sure it's going to support the weight, and probably a 65-inch LCD or LED TV to be able to run for something like that. So from this standpoint, we use instant slideshows and two 42-inch LCD TVs. In regards to cameras, pretty much any camera will do, okay? You can go out and pick whatever you want for a camera, it doesn't matter. In fact, right now, ironically enough, this morning, I have this in my email inbox. I thought I'd share it with all of you here today. Whoop.com, has everyone heard of Whoop.com before? Okay, Whoop.com has a deal of the day. And today's deal, ironically enough, is a Canon EOS Rebel T3. It's an SLR camera, $400. Phenomenal deal. You can do whatever you want with cameras. It doesn't matter what kind of camera you use. Right now, for tailored weddings, we use Canon T4Is, and I can literally take snapshots of what's happening here in the room and show them on the screens. So how do you do that? So very simply, I'm going to go into Virtual DJ. I've already got them running. Everyone's familiar with the screen, right? You're going to go into Config. You're going to go in Video. On the very bottom here, you see Use this plugin for audio-only files. Slideshow. You have a drop-down box here. I choose Slideshow. Okay? And now I'm going to activate my video screen. And now you can see, I have the displays duplicated right now, but if I had them extended, you would literally see these photos on the extended screen. Instant slideshow. Simple, easy, done. Now all this is doing and how it's pulling these photos, I'll show you that. Those are some photos I took in the break, right? How it's pulling these photos, you go into Virtual DJ, Effects. The video effects is highlighted here in white. Now, slideshow. Okay? And then you click Activate, and I can click Open here. And you can see I can choose whatever folder I want to pull photos from. So I would click that, get my head turned around here, and activate. That will automatically fire. You see these slideshows on now, and it'll run that as long as your video is activated on your config. Okay? Any questions on that? Has everyone done this before or no? No? Okay. So that's one function of Virtual DJ. Confession, I used Serato for a year. Love Serato. I think it's a great platform. When I found out what Virtual DJ could do for me from a standpoint of video, okay, there's a no-brainer. It's included in the price. I don't have to buy an extra box for video for Serato or anything like that, so it made it work for me. So that is instant slideshows. People will argue that the photographer will hate your guts. You can also, well here, I'll just show you really quick how to do that too.
Mitch, how are you getting the video signal to those monitors?
You run a VGA out of your laptop, just like I have run to this projector right here, and run it right into your TV. I have a VGA splitter. Buy one from Radio Shack, honestly. It's cheap enough, $30, $40, whatever the hell it is for a VGA splitter. Go to monoprice.com, you get it cheaper, I'm sure. And then run two VGAs out of the splitter, male to male, up into the TVs, you're done. You can run HDMI, of course, it's totally up to you. Myself personally, VGA so far has worked great for me. A little bit stronger of a cable, so no issue in regards to that as well. Okay, but the photographer is going to bitch and moan about, the actual slideshow, right? So, what you can do here is I can run, let me get back to the system here. Let me shrink that. And you can run what's called a titler as well. run a titler. Oops, just minimize that for a second. Titler. Now my virtual DJ is going to freeze, isn't it? Nope. And you can type a title in the box and run your titler as well. So if I run titler, or text, excuse me, not titler, text. You can type right here. Weddings, apply, activate. You can set that, you can overlay that on your screen and have that underneath as well. Okay? So that's how you do a titler for virtual DJ, to be able to put your name on the actual, excuse me, not a titler, a text, on the actual screens as well, over on that port. Okay? Questions on that? Instant slideshow.
Okay.
Michael?
I'm guessing, Mitch, then you're taking the SD card out of the camera, popping into your laptop there?
Yeah. So I would literally just sit here.
Okay.
Take some shots. Okay. And we run these. Okay. Pull it up. Put it in. Wow.
You want a faster way?
Pull it out, put it in. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're laughing about? I mean, seriously, come on.
They actually make an SD card that has a Wi-Fi.
Yes, they do.
Oh. That'll actually, if you set up a hotspot, you can actually send it directly to the laptop and drop it immediately. Every time you snap a photo, it'll transmit it wirelessly right back to the.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they do. That is not what I.
How much is that in? Let's give us the low figure.
Yeah.
$1 million.
Let's work on it.
I see those photos are in that window, in that folder, and they're going to pull right from it. Okay? Undo your hit card.
On a separate computer, or are you doing
Nope.
that while you're DJing?
While I'm DJing.
So you get that dictating song.
No,
in the middle of
you
your
don't.
stream.
No, you don't. This is awesome.
So then you still have complete.
Oh, that's easy. There's a hide logo right here. Put the logo on, put the logo off. Hide logo.
Well, you keep expanding the picture, though. How do you?
No, he's asking how, like, your video.
Look at it. Right.
You just have like a dual.
I extend it. Extend it. You extend the desktop. Instead of I have a duplicate right now so I can show you easily. Instead of extending back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay? So, let me move forward because I know we're crunching into time here and I'll make sure I keep close on my time. If we have questions, by all means ask me questions afterwards. That's not a problem at all. Let me get back to where we're at. Wedding party photos on the screen. You also have another feature inside Virtual DJ called Clip Bank. And you can use Clip Bank instead of using the instant slideshow feature. You can use Clip Bank. So I would go into Virtual DJ, and I go into my config here, and I would go use this plugin for audio-only files, and I go to Clip Bank. I click OK. I go to my effects, and here are my Clip Banks right up here. That is the wedding party members or a couple we did on August 18th. So August 18th, Josh, one of my other MCs, had a wedding where the bride said, look, when everyone's introduced, I want to have photos of my wedding party members on the screen. Can you do that? Yes, we can. Leverage technology to provide production solutions. That's what this seminar is all about. So, tell your couples, provide you with the photos of each person. Put them together in Photoshop or whatever your favorite photo editing software is. Save them as JPEG. Now put them into your favorite video editing software and make a movie. Virtual DJ accepts M4V files. So .m4v. .m, letter M, the number 4, letter V. So render it as an M4V file, and then put it onto your computer with Virtual DJ, and then now, when you fire that bad boy up, and you've got your video screen activated here, move it over, maybe. Yeah, the button, here we go, clip bank. And you get it up again. Hello. And it's not going to fire. Love it when technology works.
Don't you need it off of titler onto clipbank on the left hand?
Let me see. Is that what I've got here? Could be. Let's see here. Clipbank's on.
No,
No, I'm not on Tyler. Right here. I click on clipbank. Okay. Back up. And of course, not going to work. Make a liar out of me. There you go. Activate the window again. So now, when you're doing wedding party introductions, now, this was the funny thing, because this groomsman didn't give us a wedding photo, or the bridesmaid didn't get a photo, the bride didn't get a photo from him, so we just put Godzilla up there. And the beauty with ClipBank is you can do whatever you want, when you want. I know Jason uses another software, he uses Slideshow or whatever as well. The beauty with ClipBank is that you can switch it up, so when each person comes in, now you just change the video. Okay? So whenever you want that next one to fire, because it may take longer for each couple to come up, you're not going to time out your video files, because we all know that nothing ever goes exactly as planned on a wedding day, right? So you can change your files here, switch it up, and then fire for each wedding party member that comes into the room.
Why don't you just do them as photos?
You could. You could. But the problem is you don't know. ClipBank supports video files. So that's why I render it as a video file to run. Photo, again, with a slideshow, you don't have that capability to be able to fire it around instantly.
Okay.
That's the difference.
Okay.
Okay? That's the difference. You want the option to be able to fire it when you want it to run.
I got it.
Quick. Okay? Last but not least, that is instant slideshow and also wedding party introductions for photos on screens. Now let's hop back into why. Why we do what we do. Everyone has a story. This couple is Kim and Josh Young. July 28th, I was lucky enough to perform as their wedding entertainment director. And I sat down to plan Kim and Josh's wedding in January of that year, of this past year. And we started talking about what's going to happen, what they want to have happen. And Josh turned to me, after we talked about the toast and dinner and all that stuff, he said, Mitch, my grandmother always says grace. Every single family function we have. Thanksgiving, Christmas, birthday parties, Grandma says grace. She's not doing so well. She probably will not physically be able to make it to our wedding day, to make the travel and everything else. She's 87 years old. But I want her to say grace, because it's our family function. It's what we do. And I turned to Josh, and I said, your grandmother will say grace on your wedding day. He said, well, how do you know? I said, I don't care how you do it. Record her saying grace. I don't care if it's an iPhone. I don't care. However you shoot, just shoot it. Get it to me. We'll convert it, whatever format we have to convert it into ahead of time. And if she's unable to be there, we'll play it over the screens so everyone can hear it on the wedding day. And there wasn't a dry eye in the house when we went ahead and played this.
Dear Lord, we bring Kim and Josh before you. on this very special day. We ask you, Lord, to bless us. And we ask you, Lord, to bless the food, be with the people that prepared it. And Lord, we thank you for all the friends and relatives that gathered together today. Bless each and every one. And to you, Lord, we give all the praise. Amen.
It doesn't have to be perfect. The bottom line is what's most important to your client. And how can you leverage these tools that Brian talked about, that John will talk about after lunch, that I'm talking about here today. You've already got the functionality of Virtual DJ to do all this. With ClipBank, the slideshow, with other features as well. Man, use the technology we have that Kat was talking about earlier with Gobos. Use what you have in front of you to create awesome, amazing moments for your clients. That's what it's all about. Thank you. We have quick time for questions?
You have 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Perfect.
No.
Yes, Mary.
Is there a reason why you use TVs instead of projectors?
Yes.
Well, I mean...
Next question.
Brightness and clarity.
I use TVs instead of projectors because of the fact that in a lot of our spaces, we're cramped. There's not a lot of room. And we often have to set up, if you do a projector, we have to set it up, tear it down. Think about, I'm not sure where you play or what you do for venues, but oftentimes if we are doing a projector in my neck of the woods, they've got to set it up on a dance floor, they've got to set up the projection screen and the table and the projector and the cord, and they got to tear it down, and that takes precious time out of a wedding day or out of an event. Why waste that time? And also, the other reason why I use TVs, the other reason why I use TVs is because if you do a projection of a screen, now it's almost a whole thing of, hey, let's watch this 15-minute video of the bride and groom growing up to present day and baby photos, and then people like, after a while, right? In today's 80s society, if you create a montage, which we've done tons, and I could have shown some during this, but we don't have time. You can create a montage to show during a first dance, during a father-daughter, a mother-son, and then show that on the screens while they are dancing on the dance floor. Now, some people think, okay, why are you interrupting that moment? Why are you taking away from that moment? I disagree. I think you're supporting that moment. Because in today's, like I said, ADHD society, people aren't going to sit around and watch them, in most cases, 4 minutes on a dance floor, just do this. If you're giving something else to support the moment, visually, you can really honor them as people. It's like, how do you condense 31 or 25 years, 20 plus years of a bride's life into 4 minutes? That's what you're doing. With father-daughter dance, or mother-son, that's what you're doing. Ron?
Do you have a preference over LCD versus plasma?
No. Okay. So let me straight. Fix that. I use LCD, plasma. To my knowledge, and please correct me, I am not the most technical person in the room, that's for damn sure. I'm more Ron's level versus anyone else in this room. I am not a technical guy. That being said, I understand plasma, you can't lay it flat. Ken is correct me. Okay, am I right on that? Okay, so that's the reason why I use LCD over plasma.
Plasma's heavy too.
Yeah.
Correct, okay, cool.
And actually, you want to use the new LEDs over the LCDs because the LCDs use a cathode tube in order to illuminate, and they tend to go out over time as opposed to the LEDs, who are also thinner and lighter.
How much are those?
Jason had a comment, question.
42-inch LED, HH Greg was running.
Yeah, we're gonna wait for.
I was just going to mention a piece of technology. Hitachi makes an ultra short throw projector. They project a 10-foot by 8-foot screen in 4 feet.
Nice.
So you could use a rear projection screen, basically use the same amount of space that they would give you for a DJ setup anyway against the wall, and fill a screen. In most venues, a 6-foot by 8-foot screen is adequate.
So that's another option for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Other questions? Okay, John Young is going to be covering his portion of this afterwards because we are really short on time. We have to do a connection for Triceros Soccer coming up. You know, I got to say, I've been coming to Conclave now for a while. And it's great to see this grow. It's great to see this expand, and thank you all for being here. And I want to thank John Young, this man here, for giving me an opportunity to write articles for DiscJockeyNews and ultimately helping me to lead to speaking in front of all of you. So thank you, John Young, for that opportunity.
It's lunchtime. There's lots of spots on site. There's burger places, there's buffet, there's coffee places. We are going to be back. We'll be back in somewhere around 1:15 in that ballpark. So go enjoy, hang out.
Total forgot. Shameless plug. 2 years ago, I spoke at Mobile Beat, Las Vegas, and did creative consultations. And I have literally 20 of those DVDs left. I brought them here. You guys want them? They're $30. They have the audio version as well. Sales Success A to Z. With them for another $10, so $40 if you want those. But I literally have 20 left. If anyone wants them, just come up and see me. Let me know. Didn't meant to get that in, but thank you, John.
So after lunch, we'll do some. We're going to look at video. We're going to look at video. We'll look at lighting. We're going to have the beverages and the reception snacks. Go ahead, lunch.
I can see where when I get back.
Yeah, I know. I'm still a little bad.
Brian, we need to, I got to talk to you for a little bit. Wireless sound stuff. And I've never done it. I need to, like, now. So that's okay. That's good. But I'm like, it made sense to me, but I need to do what you're doing, because I've never done it. And it was tough, because it's like, you got ragdoll? But I don't have to, I can find whatever. I just need to get something to work.
I mean, you run into the unknowns of like the latency. I got it.
So, just point me in the right direction, I'll find what I need to do.
Are you on the phone?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking to somebody else.
No, I don't have a problem doing it. I don't know. Right now.
You said my name, but I'm like, I don't know who you're talking to.
I mean, I'm at.
Oh, okay. So I'm like, wow, go figure. He's talking with my
DiscJockeyNews too. Something with a
all right, so let's look at your scenario.
If you didn't we can either do it or we're in school too. Because I'm speaking tomorrow, and actually tomorrow I'll be in like a white suit. So it's just audio. Oh, it's just audio. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I was just concerned you're shooting video. Okay, that way, if people are not recently. Yeah. Well, there's
nothing that you can
DiscJockey America. They did a beer team and then
is the house system fast in nature?
Yeah.
Is that California? The system itself, or just the
it has a weekly cast.
You know, that I don't know. That I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that.
Yeah, I don't have a problem doing it. Let me double check with my wife.
I hate using those microphones because they come out of the little microphone or everything else microphone. You have a you can turn the volume off or something, or you hand it over to the maid of honor, and all of a sudden she starts talking. She's got a mic on here, and I'm looking at you. I have no control over that.
Hey, Ed. What were we in the weeds about?
When you take an audio output out of a board and you bring it back on the board, and then that comes back on the output, it creates a cascade effect that causes feedback. And that's what the question was. If you're taking a signal out of the board, you're feeding it over to another board, and then the signal out of that board is coming back to you on one of the microphone channels, then it'll build, cascade, and create. That's what feedback is. And that was what the question was about. Was having that, like if you have a monitor output and you transmit it wirelessly to another board, and then that board is doing something and then coming back to you, and it comes back in on a microphone channel or whatever on the board, then it can cause problems.
Right.
And that was what the question was about. But for a lot of people, if you try to talk about that, it's going to get confused, and it's a whole lot easier. It'd be a lot easier to have a whiteboard. I just went, oh, it's like this. And watching what came in where and that kind of stuff. So that was what the question was. It was really kind of getting into the weeds a little bit because not everybody understands how feedback's created, and because you have two systems, you're creating a loop between the two systems, how it all plays out. And that was what his question was. But you just may want to get with Dean sometime and talk to him about it and kind of, and I think it was just explain. I don't think he was really getting clear on how to ask the question. It was just so anyway, that's what I'm talking about. I hope that makes sense. If not, I'll go get my pad. I'll just render it.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
just something I saw.
Some small people have about 25 or something like that. So it happens. People feeling very bad.
Yeah, you know, Mitch, I've thought about it. I'm just concerned if I get too many things going on, I'll just screw up. So.
It really isn't that hard to do. Especially these discussion stuff. The clip-based stuff, and when you switch it back and forth for video sources, that can be a little challenging. Yeah, that's a little tricky. But if you're just running it, and the transit, I didn't cover this, transitioning back and forth from video to, that's something else I can walk through and show you too. How to transition back and forth. It's simple, it's easy to do it. But the transition from like the slideshow to video that you're running on TV,
the sound is just lost.
it's not that difficult to do, but it's just you need to know
angle. I mean, I don't know the venue, but more than likely it's not going to be sucked away. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I'm happy to
you just angle.
no problem. Just let me know.
This one's because you're using just
Let me know when it's good.
shoot it.
Talk about it.
But then I would
You know me, I'll hold lunch. Yeah, exactly. Me too.
Why don't we join the buffet?
Oh, it's over
And obviously, like wireless speaker this way. Now we're going to get you to get your seats, right? Just the bars right here. It's out of the way for any introductions in photography. Then when you move,
Can we leave stuff in the room or no?
Yeah, one of us will be here.
Okay.
I would more likely it's going to be the speaker right here. That's going to be the main projection because this one's going to cancel that one out.
The last time I did a wedding, I brought one of those little bitty Samson handheld speakers, basically. Wireless, they've got the wireless microphone built right in, and I set that up right here, so at least when they did toast, they were broadcasting out to these people, and they could hear. And it definitely was better than using the house microphone system. I mean, the house microphone system. Ideally, they got a new banquet manager, and I just talked to her and I hope she, the gal that was there before, just one of those people that knew everything and didn't want to listen to any input. But this new gal, she's new to the wedding industry. I'm like, you know what would be really good is if you set the DJ up here, put the dance floor right here, put the head table and risers down here, type of thing. Yeah, or something. Well, there's bathrooms right here. Yeah, so we couldn't do that. But I mean, get us at least in the center of the room so we can broadcast to the left, broadcast to the right type thing. When we're down here in this little bitty alcove and trying to reach, you know, it's time for the father-daughter dance. Where's Dad? He's up at the bar. We just can't get, you know, send out the father or the bride, and nobody can hear.
That's not, you know, that's not something to go with the venue with. That's something to talk to the client in terms of staging. Because they don't know. They don't know that. They don't know what the best staging options are. And the venue's not going to. The venue's not going to want to change what they normally do.
No, yeah.
They're going to do what they always do. If you're able to do that, I mean, you know, be here, but I mean, if you have to be here, I mean, nobody's ever saying you have to be here. It's just what they normally do. That's what they put you. So,
yeah, I mean, I did a Christmas party there a couple, I guess last year.
Hi, Mike. It's Mitch.
And I knew that they weren't,
I got a phone
they
call
weren't like
from
big
Grace this
dancers
morning
or
saying
things
you'd like
like
to
that.
Josh for your
So I
upcoming
just set
wedding.
my table up on one of the dance floor and things like that. And I
Start that ball rolling for you guys. Feel
that
free to give me a shout back
worked
at
better.
906-280-8467. I'll try to give you a call. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Look forward to talking
just by the room layout, it used to be, you know, saying years ago,
yeah. Well, that's, again, when we got the new banquet manager in, we talked to her about this, and she was like, because she already wanted to go, it's a city-owned facility, and she already wanted to go to the city, you know, okay, I'm the new banquet manager, I want to get remodel the place, carpet, and stuff like that. And we're like, since you're going to do that, talk to them about it. This would be the best layout here. So the last time I was there, it's been a while now. Something like, oh yeah, we're going to give our client the option of renting a portable dance floor. That's a start.
You know, I think that the first things first is that you look at the best ways of laying out the room, whether the circumstances, the layout, or the timeline, and what they're doing where. The first thing before dinner is the tables on the dance floor, you know, I mean, if the reserve venue more than likely entertains is very important, right? So where's the best place? You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with the venue per se, like with dinner. Because if you leave it up to the venue, the client, you know, your relation with the client is pretty strong, right? You probably spend time with them later at the venue, right? Well, then that's where
I always get
create this type of production. We need to be here. The dancer needs to be here.
Everyone has fun.
Hi, it's Taylor calling from Taylor Weddings. How are you?
If I'm stuck in the corner and they can't
Good,
hear me.
good.
Because
Have your voice
if it goes
Sorry for not being able to answer your call earlier.
to the
And you want to ball rolling with Josh.
you're not even in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to be in the picture.
Okay.
Having you there.
And then, did you want to add on any other services at all, or we're just going to do with Josh for now? I just want to make sure before I execute the contract.
There's a high ceiling tin. It's just like playing in the gym. I mean, is there any certain way you EQ something?
You can always add it on later if it's still available.
Something like that.
That's the caveat, of course.
Well,
I can go ahead and email you the contract.
Based on the venue, but at the same time, though, this is limited. A lot of times it's limited, like, especially the house PA, introductions, it's looking at toast, anything. You're not overdoing it. You're just using it for what you need, coverage is all the key.
For your
wedding
day,
rough.
your retainer, you can do either
Barely, I would rather just use wireless speakers. That's really what I would do. But then depending on the speaker, some of them have two pole.
The address is on the contract.
So you're angling.
I
disconnected ourselves.
And yeah.
I just really don't look at, I mean, granted, that's a tin cup.
What else can I help you with for your wedding day?
Guy that works with me does a Friday night every Thursday nights, and this.
I hear you well, man.
I have him upstairs. Kind of pain, he go upstairs.
We can do whatever you want. That was totally your call. Whatever you need. Did you need us for ceremony? Or you need us for
sounds good.
Just for the reception?
You got a Mediterranean team on the
right now, but
no ceremonies. Ceremonies are additional.
Something to kind of.
Are you still watching my screen?
I don't have my notes in front of me. Did you?
I plugged in the user because every time I run it, it tells me that there's a low internet connection.
I think what a lot of it is.
But let me try it again because it might not be the upstream on
ceremony sound is additional. Because that also includes not only the ceremony sound, but wireless lavalier mics, and a separate mic on a lectern on a podium for you, or on a mic stand, I should say.
Because you can have a body
music stand there for
whatever piece of gear, but unless it's used in the proper way,
the
knowing how it can be
coordination
used.
and direction of the ceremony rehearsal for you
But
that
it
day
becomes
as
a
well.
very creative and powerful tool
Like that,
if it's like
whenever you decide to have it.
just
So
with these
the
connections
ceremony
with
package
this
is $500.
thought process.
What do you recommend for wireless speakers?
You want just reception?
Sounds like we've kicked around here.
I just set the volume that there won't be an
Very
echo.
good. I will go ahead and get this contract emailed over to you here, and like I said,
A little repairing here, but that's okay.
We're inside, we can.
and you guys should be all set.
We've done this before once in a while, but guys have used
Thank you so much for your business.
on the north side.
I would recommend a powered speaker.
Alright,
That's
have a good day.
functional.
Bye-bye.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like,
sure.
You know, where it's not
It's
just
okay.
line in, line out.
Good deal.
Plus,
Let's try
volume
the,
is more like for
let's go
a Mac
crazy
difference.
here and try the team
You
viewer
know what I
and
mean?
see
It's
how that
almost
works.
compact, but you don't have much choice. You know what I'm
I'm not
saying?
sure what that
And if
is.
you want to
That's
plug in a
something
mic,
you're
pull some
okay.
music source, there again, you're winging this.
Visit the,
You're combining two
Sophia browser
signals,
for a sec.
a mic signal and a line level signal into one jack.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a browser.
But it's also got, you know, for my
Open
mindset,
up,
something that's
teamviewer.com.
it's easy, but it can also, it's also something you can carry in your vehicle as your backup solution. You know what I mean? So you bring it with you anyway, so why not use it? And plus, the benefit is it doesn't take up much space.
Yeah, the last
Team
few
viewer
guys
should
done,
be
we get the Samsung
a
thing.
white
got the
background,
iPod,
light
on
blue
top,
with a girl on the right.
I'm there.
set it up for cocktail hours.
There's a button on the left that's green,
I'm not
to
a,
download
I
free.
have not experimented with
So just click on that and run.
phonic wireless transmitter receivers or whatever. I've heard that they're not what their claim to fame is, right? It's something for that specific purpose, but
Is it a problem?
Yep,
phonic
it's downloading.
is, in my, I don't know much
Until
about it, but they're
download.
not a
Yeah,
company
it's
that
gonna take a
is
little bit,
experts in wireless. You know what I'm saying? It's this thing that they create.
I'm gonna shut
But
down
from
my
other
YouTube
people I've talked to,
connection, maybe that'll help.
it's something you have to buy just to do that solution versus using stuff that you already have. But just, okay, wow, okay, so I can take out this receiver,